Welcome to Grant's Rock Warehouse, and tonight we are doing yet another in our Grand Funk series. Tonight's victim is Good Singin' and Good Playin' from 1976. The panel's here. We are ready to go. Let's do this.
Talking bands no one talks about. Grant's Rock Warehouse.
Holy crap, we are busy tonight, ladies and gentlemen. If you were on the Contrarians, we just ended up doing our Wednesday live chat, and look at me. I'm jumping from show to show like a true professional. Well, anyway, I want to welcome our panel tonight. We've got DC Toontime and Larry Graves, the Canadian Studmuffin. How are you, gentlemen? Are you ready to talk some Grand Funk?
I'm ready to go.
We are ready to go. So
I'm ready to talk about some big buns.
Big buns. Well, we're going to get everybody's take on this, and we're going to run this kind of like a Contrarians Dark Horse episode. So we're going to get everybody's take on the record. We're going to compile it and see where we are on here. Everybody in the chat, I want to thank everybody for popping in tonight. This is fun. Look at that. Holy shit. It's Larry. There he is.
That a lot.
Look, is DC the well, possibly. No. But we're going to talk about these records, and there are other people that were on the other show here tonight. Ernesto, we still have Grant. we still have Grant Arthur ringtones available to purchase. Contact Ernesto in the chat for you to buy those. And Cretan, I don't like the fuzz bass, only when Paul McCartney does it. So let's get that straight. But anyway, we are here. We are talking 1976. We are talking Good Singin' and Good Playin'. And this is the album Frank Zappa produced. Frank thought, hey, he would love to produce the band. The band had broken up by this point. They got back together for this release. And this is what we've got. So I'm going to throw it out to the panel. We're going to talk about it, rate it. Is this something that we can recommend? More importantly, this is my damn show. Do I like it? I don't care about these guys. Care if they like anything. Do I like it? That's all that matters.
We're the music missionaries trying to convert you.
Exactly. But okay, I don't know how they're going to rank it. I don't know what their thoughts are on this record. Like I said, we're going through the catalog, talking Grand Funk. That's really what it is about, just to turn you on to stuff and try to turn me on to stuff. All right, I'm going to throw it over to DC and get his thoughts on this record. DC Toontime.
All right.
What's your thoughts on this record?
Well, hello, gentlemen. Hello, everybody on viewing tonight. This is what I consider Grand Funk Railroad's swan song. I mean, those two 80s albums, I don't consider them completely Grand Funk canon. But very inspired producer, a choice as producer, and I understand that their manager at the time, Andy Cavalieri, was the one that contacted Zappa, because he had contacted Todd and also Jimmy Ienner to produce as well. Frank loved these guys, and he agreed readily to produce them. He liked their earthy approach and their non-industry bullshit attitude. The band stated that they just went into the studio to have a fun time. They had broken up, came back to record this album, and at the time, disco was really king. And although Grand Funk had R&B and soul flavoring to a lot of their music, they weren't going to take the disco plunge, but they put their personal differences aside for a few weeks and cut the album. And then oddly enough, before the album was even released, they broke up again. So that was that. That's just my general overview to open things up. Maybe we could just go to Larry and get his initial thoughts without going to the songs quite yet.
Well, we'll get there. I just want to throw this out because Dan threw it out that I am playing the role of Terry Knight tonight. Is that true? I don't know. Wow. I don't know. I thought we were just having a discussion. All right. Maybe I am a Terry Knight. I don't know. I don't think that's good.
No one cares what these jamokes think. It's me.
All right, Larry, what's your initial thoughts on this record?
Well, I bought this. I never heard it when it came out. And I'm a big Frank Zappa fan, but I still had no interest in the later Grand Funk. And so when I did buy this, probably over 5 years ago, I played it once. And I was disappointed in it. It sounded like your typical, Grand Funk going the pop route. But having to do this, I had to listen to it a few times. And overall, I like the album. I was kind of impressed with it. I don't like it as much as their earlier stuff, unlike Grant, who's the exact opposite.
Well,
And I wrote down a little bit about each song, and I rated them out of 5. So the opening song, Just Couldn't Wait. Why couldn't she wait until Sunday? I want to know.
It's the question.
What's going on there?
Decades-old question.
It's an age-old question.
Yeah.
Never been answered.
Yeah. Anyway, it's a catchy pop song with some heavier bits, and I love the guitar solo in it. So it was good. 3 out of 5. Can You Do It? 4 out of 5. Energetic rocker, fast-paced, and a very fun track. I love Mel's bass, and the keyboards are superb. And the band sounds like they're having fun. And just like on here, right? They look like they're getting along. And look at this. Don has his arm around Mark. That ain't happening these days.
No, it isn't.
No.
Can you believe it?
No,
Can you believe
no
it,
way in
Larry?
hell.
Okay, now there's some excellent songs on here. Pass It Around, another great rocker with great vocals by Don Brewer, catchy chorus. It could have been a hit single. I don't know if it was released as a single. But as much as I love Mark Farner's vocals, I think Don needed a couple more vocals on this album.
Yeah, Mark really dominates this album. As far all the songwriting credits are Mark's, except for the "Can You Do It," which was a soul tune in the early '60s by the Contours, and there's one Frost Brewer tune on the album, but the rest of it's all Mark.
Okay, I know we're keeping it loose, but I have to interject. Normally on these records, I'm a big Don Brewer fan. On this record, I find it very well balanced. What I'm trying to say there. Normally, I embrace these Don Brewer tracks. We do get Don, not as much as we have in the past, especially since the Todd Rundgren produced records. Okay. But this is a kindlier, friendlier Grand Funk. This is about the songs. This is an album about the songs. It's not about anybody surpassing anybody else. It sounds like to me that Mark Farner on this record is singing more towards the songs. Does that make sense? And exactly with Don, everything doesn't seem like it's... Now you listen to that live album, everything seems to be hyped up. This is just a good record with great songs, great production. Frank knew what... I know I've said in the past that Rundgren knew what to do with these guys. Frank knows exactly what to do with them too. He let the band be the band.
He was aware of what was going on with the band and the conflict and everything. To the boys' credit, they decided, hey, let's just have fun in the studio.
Right.
Frank was always keeping the tape running. That's why you get all this in the studio banter.
I love it.
And you get big buns. Love that. But I mean, Frank just kept it loosey-goosey. The guys loved him. He loved the band. They were putting their best foot forward. And I'm glad they went out happily recording this final album together. And look at that cover. Come on now. They're getting along.
There's group unity. I know they were breaking up, but you sense group unity here. You sense them having a good time. I like the studio banter. I think it just gives a loose... Oh, wait a minute. Nathan Fuller, $5. Holy shit.
And it's
holy Don Brewer. All right, thank you, Nathan. I appreciate it. When we give a dono, we put our brakes on. But I think they sound like they're having a good time. This is the last hurrah. And let's just put out a collection of great songs, great playing. They just sound very unified on this record. And I like all the songs. When I listen to this, I don't want to turn it off because Mark Farner's driving me crazy. Everything seems to be harmonious. It seems like, well, like I said, a groove factor. I keep repeating myself. But I'm not going to get to what I'm going to say yet, but I've just spoken.
Well, send it back to Larry.
Now, I want to say real quick. Sorry, Larry. I'll let you get back to, I'm on fire tonight, ladies and gentlemen. When I first heard this record, I went, It's one of those records. It's, okay, when you know a truly great record, you first hear it and you go, I don't know.
That's the way I was, yeah.
Okay, you listen to these truly, like Pet Sounds. When I first heard Pet Sounds, I went, But the more I listened to it, the more it opened itself up like a flower, like a flower. This is the same thing here. When I first heard this record, I'm going, it's okay. I'm not saying this is Pet Sounds quality, but what I'm saying in the Grand Funk catalog, there's a lot here. Do not dismiss this record as some throwaway thing. I'm going to use the word, I don't know, this is a great record. And there's a lot, I don't want to say brilliant, but there's a lot here. They should be proud how they went out. And now those 80s records, well, we haven't gotten to those yet. I'm going to say that I'm just going to guess that they probably should have ended it right here. And I think it would have been a high point. We're not going to talk. Oh, look who's here, ladies and gentlemen. Rand Kelly.
Oh.
I listened to this album this morning and it's really good. Thanks, Rand. All right.
Yeah.
That's good. But anyway. All right, Larry, go back. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be
Don't
an
interrupt
asshole.
me again.
I'm sorry. We're just talking music. It's just a discussion.
Okay. So yeah, Pass It Around is 5 out of 5. I love it.
Yes.
Don't Let Them Take Your Guns. It's Mark being political again. It's an okay song for me. 2 out of 5 stars. Plus, for guns here and where I live, there's not too many guns that I know of. Like, I've never had to carry a gun. So, but I understand, everybody's different with that. Miss My Baby is another 2 out of 5, mainly because it's just the chorus gets pretty repetitive. He sings that Miss My Baby quite often, and then at the end the whoa whoa whoas kind of is
Whoa.
whoa. But it's a catchy
and
song.
Larry, it's over 7 minutes long. Could we
Is
have
it
not?
really?
Yeah, could we have not edited this tune?
Okay.
And there's one real cringe line.
Yeah,
Well, I miss my baby. I think I'll join the Navy.
I wrote that down somewhere, but yeah.
I like it.
Up there. That's right up there with Foreigners. Hot-blooded, can't get to sleep, got a fever of 103. Are you hot, mama? Well, you sure look that way to me.
Yeah.
And it's just like, spend a little time.
Hey, it was the 70s.
I was there. All right, Larry, carry on.
Okay.
Sorry, Larry. We're bad.
Buns is just a little fun little 30-second ditty. It's okay. I didn't rate that.
Well, no, but let me ask before we go on. But don't, Larry, I'm just going to throw this out to you. Do you like the way this record is? It just seems kind of loose. They're not taking themselves so seriously. You have a lot of that Zappa influence. I don't know.
I don't know if it's my CD though, but the production isn't as good as I thought it would be, because Frank Zappa's an excellent producer. Yeah. Maybe this just needs to be remastered or something, right? But it's good.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be. I mean, it only came out, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm talking CDs. So it only came out on It was only
1999.
on Universal Hippo, right? That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Out to Get You. That features Frank Zappa shredding on the guitar. That's awesome. That's a great rocker. Mainly an instrumental. That's 5 out of 5. Crossfire, I think, is my favorite song. Killer chorus. Mark sings it great. Even Grant would agree with that.
I agree 100%.
Yeah. 1976, another political song by Mark, but I really like this one. It's 5 out of 5. Excellent guitar solo. It just rocks. And the guitar, some of the guitar solos sound like Frank Zappa's guitar work, but I guess it is Mark Farner. Don't you agree, DC? Like some of the guitar work on this?
Well,
Yeah.
I
You
think
could even-
Frank, well, I'm sorry, but isn't Frank playing guitar and Out to Get You? That's the only
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
that I know
yeah.
of.
Well, from what I was able to gather when they were trying to do Out to Get You, Mark was having a hell of a time finding lead riffs that were working with that song. Finally, he just said, "Hey, Frank, you want to take a shot at this? See what you could come up with?" He just got in there and he just laid it down. But the second lead is Mark on that instrumental. You can tell when it switches from Frank to Mark. But Zappa just stepped in, and that's a fantastic lead on that song. That's my favorite one on the album.
And then Release Your Love, 3 out of 5 stars. Catchy pop song with the rock and middle, with a nice guitar work and solo. That's very Zappa-ish.
Yep.
Going for the Pastor is 4 out of 5 stars. Good rockin' song to close the album. More great guitar work from Mark. And then the bonus track, which I'm not including in the album rating, but it's more of a, sounds more like a Frank Zappa song than a Grand Funk song, but it was written by Don Brewer. And it's a fun song. I enjoy
It's
it.
fun. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Overall, for a rating, Grant, I would, like I
Okay.
said, I love their earlier stuff more, but I was impressed with this. And I played it quite often. And I would give it 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Hey, Grant.
Now, sorry. I want to add this since we are doing averages. Everybody in the chat, if you know this record, please give me your ranking. Give me your average out of 10, and I will
silly
include
ratings.
it. So
No silly
please,
ratings.
no silly. We're trying to be. We're trying
serious.
to turn people on to stuff. Yeah. So we really want your quote unquote real rating. So I would appreciate that.
Don't be like olive oil's sister, canola oil. I've not listened to it, but I give it a 4.5. Yeah. Don't do that.
Holy crap! We've got Mike. We've got a 3.
What? The,
Ouch. Okay.
That's gonna
We've
hurt.
got Nathan Fuller gives it a 10. Okay.
We got some extremes going here.
It's all right. We're taking average. We got Jeff with a 7 out of 10. All right. Good. Keep them coming. Literally, all we're here to do is turn people on to stuff. So we do want to hear from you if you know this record.
Hey, Grant, Larry gave his thoughts about the songs. You want me to give some brief
Go ahead.
coverage of the tunes?
Yes, sure.
Okay. Just Couldn't Wait. Great song to start the album. The question's never been answered. You could hear here while the band is more locked into the Jimmy Ienner era with this is pop rock for the most part. This isn't even the stuff that they were doing with Todd, and of course not like their earlier stuff. Can You Do It was released as a single from this album, and it only reached 47 on the charts. And like I said, it's an old Contours tune from, I think, 64. Pass It Around. Let's see. The times were changing. Like I'm saying, this is really more pop rock than what Grand Funk was known for, even if you go back to the Rundgren years. This is very much, very short little pop songs. Don't Let 'Em Take Your Guns. Yeah, this is Mark's first political song on the album. But Don comes in there during the chorus.
Okay.
And while I don't really like political songs, what's a light bulb moment for me is how much you agree with what the song's all about will a lot of times have some bearing on whether you like it or not, or you feel like someone's barking up the wrong tree. And I'll just leave it at that. It does start out very odd with this piano and Mark. It's like a political rally. And it reminds me of that one song from the musical, The Music Man. I just can't think of what the song is, but it sounds like turn of the 19th century type political rally as the song begins. Miss My Baby, we already pointed out. It's a good song, but some of those lyrics are a little suspect. And Big Buns, like I said, Zappa had the tapes going constantly to pick up whatever in the studio. I understand this was about Mark's girlfriend at the time, actress Sally Kellerman.
Yeah.
And I also suspect that the song Sally from the previous album was about Sally Kellerman as well. So she was the inspiration for two songs here, kind of like the Patty Boyd of Grand Funk Railroad. But it's a fun song, and you can tell the boys, like you say, are having a great time. Out to Get You Next, that's my favorite song on this album. Just blistering Zappa solo. You'd never have thought back in the early days of Grand Funk, or even at mid-period, that you'd have Frank Zappa actually in the studio performing with Grand Funk Railroad. Yeah. Like I said, Mark does do that second solo on this song, but he was having a hell of a time coming up with anything and just turned it over to Frank. Crossfire is next. This reminds me a little bit of like Creepin' from American Band. Lyrics are very good here, and Craig's keys are very upfront. And this is my second favorite song on the album. Yeah. 1976. I like this song. It's political, not quite as much as Don't Let Them Take Your Guns. It's got a little ecology message in there, and basically, I think Mark's saying, don't be a pant load, and I think we can all agree on that. Don't be a pant load. Release Your Love to Me. It's a little janky with some of the lyrics here, not quite as bad as Steve Miller territory. And I love the sound of Mark Farner's guitar on this album. It's really buzzy, and it's just like right in my sweet spot. Let's see, Going for the Pastor. Like I said, I love Mark's guitar here too. And I'm not a lyric guy, but some of these could use a little bit of sprucing up. Going for the Pastor, like I said, really like the chorus. Nice lead by Mark. Larry mentioned Rubberneck. That's by Brewer and Frost. And you could see Frank had his hands all over that one especially. Yeah. And it didn't make the album proper, but it's a good tune. Overall, if I was to grade this album, I think I would give it an 8.
All right.
They said the only bizarre thing about Frank the whole time he produced this album was he drank an insane amount of coffee. Yeah. Just like big ass thermoses he would bring in there and just refill. Yeah. So that's it for me.
Awesome. Dan, you bought the Durox? Look at you. Was it the vinyl or was it the CD? Excellent. I do want to give a shout out because Star is in the chat tonight. Star is one of my earliest. Well, DC, you know that. Star has been around forever. We don't see Star that often.
Not that often.
Hello, we love Star when she's in the chat. Thank you, Star, for showing up tonight. Nice to see you. In fact, I just want to say I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight because we couldn't do these shows if it wasn't for you. And to be quite honest, it's just about talking music. So without any further ado, let me go to my notes on this record. I think what Larry and DC said, I think pretty much sums it up. But just, I can go into some tracks, but this is the thing. Like kind of what I said before. I find that everything is very balanced. Yeah, I maybe could use some Don Brewer vocals, but I mean, you've got the song Pass It Around. It's very catchy. The thing is, the band is running around on all cylinders. Couldn't I Just Wait, the opening track. Great guitar. This should have been a hit. I think Zappa and Rundgren knew exactly what to do with this band. Now, someone in the chat mentioned they weren't, okay, Jason's not a big fan of Todd's production. Now, I want to mention that his work on We're an American Band and Shining On is absolutely stellar. I don't hear so much that Todd Rundgren trademark stamp and sound. Yeah, Todd's on it, yeah, but absolutely brilliant. Those still, I like this record quite a bit. It doesn't come close. It comes close to Shining On and We're American Band. I still think that's the peak. Don't Let Them Take Your Gun. I like the piano. I think Mark sounds great. Normally on these political songs, I check out because I don't want to be preached at. But for some reason, it didn't bother me. Go figure. I don't know. Miss My Baby. What I like about this, you get a kindler, gentler Mark Farner. He's not pushing his vocals down your throat. It's a lot more. Is this a lot more commercial than what came before? I don't know. I think this could have been a single as well. I hear a lot of singles that would fit right into 1976.
Agreed.
Okay.
This is as pop as All the Girls in the World Beware.
This is a better record, I think.
I think there's more.
No
guitar
DC.
work on this one, like good guitar work.
Despite that
Larry,
hideous
I
album,
agree. I agree 100%. What?
Despite that hideous album cover for All the Girls in the World Beware, I would rate that one a little higher than this one.
This record feels more like an album to me. It seems like a record that you look at all of it. You know, you've got that looseness. You've got, big buns. It's a bit looser. It's got that Zappa element. It seems more cohesive to me, and they don't take themselves as seriously. All the Girls Beware, you've got Locomotion, you've got all this stuff that are a bit of an outlier. This seems like a solid record to me.
That's a valid point, but for me, I'm just a song person. I'm like Schnee. I'm looking at the songs.
I'm looking at the sequencing, the songs, the production, the way it flows. How does it work together as an album? The album cover, the fonts. I'm looking at everything to make my assessment. All right, Get Out to You, Rocky. It's instrumental. Look at Frank. We've got a Grand Funk instrumental, and I believe DC and I have talked about this before. That Grand Funk is a perfect band to produce an instrumental release. We never got it. These guys are really good players. I know I've badmouthed them, but I've also given them props on their musicianship.
Yeah, how about Guinevere? And then there's Flight of the Phoenix.
That's true.
Some great instrumentals over the course of their
but not enough. History. And based on that, they should have done a lot more. Yeah. So at least we can add Get Out to that canon. I give that track 5 stars. There, Guinevere, yes, you're 100% right. Crossfire, I think Mark sounds great on here. He doesn't sound forced on this record. Some of the records, I look at it and it's like Mark trying to strut his stuff. Look at me, I'm the peacock. Look at me. No, I'm being serious. I don't get that on this record.
I hear you, and I can understand how you're getting that vibe too. Absolutely.
I think Zappa is the producer for this band, though I think that they do come off well with the Rundgren stuff. All right. 1976. You mentioned that, yes, this is another political song. It doesn't bother me. It's kind of got that funky guitar. I love it because the guitars on this are killer.
Exactly. I love Farner's guitar, the tone on this album. Just crunchy.
And, we talked about the CD release. Larry brought that up. Rubberneck. It's not on the original record. It should have been, because what a way to... It just keeps it light. You've got that frank humor. And I think Grand Funk benefits from that. It keeps Grand Funk not looking as serious and it just lightens the load. But you have that throughout the whole record to some degree. It's Grand Funk having a good time. It's Grand Funk just playing their songs. No one's on display. No one's the star. It's a group good effort. But I think... Go ahead.
I would have loved to find out why Rubberneck wasn't included on the album.
I don't know.
Was it a vinyl consideration? I don't think so.
Maybe.
This album isn't that long. They could have fit it in there.
I think it's great.
Especially if they cut a couple minutes off of Miss My Baby.
I'm just saying, do yourself a favor. If you haven't heard the CD or you don't have the track Rubberneck, go out and search for it. Come on, it's great. Don sounds great. Don always sounds great. Based on that, holy crap, I like this record quite a bit. It grows on me each time I listen to it. Now, would I consider it in that area of Shining On and We're American Band? No, because I think both of those records are perfect. This, I think, I like Shining On, We're an American Band, and then I'm going to go out on a ledge and I'm going to say this is my third favorite.
Wow.
I think this is a great record.
Wow.
This makes all the girls in the world look half-baked. This seems like a fully realized record to me. So, we got a We're American Band, we've got Shining On. I'm going to give both of those. What did I give them? DC 10s?
I think
Yep,
so.
those two. Todd
I'm going to give this a
Reverends.
9 point. I'm going to give this a 9.
Holy
Easy 9.
cats.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's great. I love it.
Fantastic. Hey, Grant,
Yeah.
let's hear from Petey the Potty Mouth Possum what he thinks. Zappa is awesome on this album with production.
Where's Pardo? Is he still around? I want to hear what he thinks.
A solid 8.
Look, Jeff goes, I'm being honest. I like this record quite a bit.
Yeah.
I think it's great. And based on what I said, it's a fully realized record. They're going out on a high point, even though they did come back and did those other. But at this point, 1976, they thought this was it. So I think it's great. If I had to rank them, this is my third favorite.
Wow, that's great, but that surprises me. But
Why? Why does it surprise you?
I did not think it would rise to that level of number 3.
It didn't originally, but the more I sit down with it, it just I can't explain it.
It sounds like Grant's a Grand Funk fan.
Well, I like the later stuff. The early stuff, we haven't really talked about that yet. But I think they got better as they went along. Yeah, you might say that, Born to Die. I even like Born to Die. All right? I like it. I like the later stuff. I think if they could have kept going, they might have even gotten better. Don't burn a cross in my yard. Don't burn my house down. I'm just talking.
Yeah, you and we tackled Flint, but maybe you and Pete need to tackle those two Foreigner solo albums.
We are. That's on the agenda, but I don't know when. We're gonna do Dennis DeYoung this weekend. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, we're gonna record it on Thursday for Sunday. So get ready, ladies and gentlemen. Rank your. Where's Gary at? Gary, get your Dennis DeYoung ranking ready.
I guess those two last Grand Funk albums were remastered recently, and they're like in a double.
Aren't they on the Wounded Bird as a twofer? I don't know. I don't have them.
Yeah.
DC, you're a resident Grand Funk fan. What about?
I haven't looked into those. Maybe they do have them as a 2 for 1 CD with Wounded
Yeah,
Bird.
it's new. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Pretty recent.
Well, Larry's got the scoop there.
Well, thank God someone knows what we're talking about.
Did Mel play on either of those albums?
The last
I don't
two
know.
in the 80s, no, he did not. It was Dennis Bellinger,
Okay.
who was a roadie for Grand Funk, and then he also played bass, and they brought him in.
Okay, Gary Joyce, it's everything except the Hunchback record and the Broadway album. Because those are, yeah, you know. Yeah, we're not doing those. We're doing everything else. So I guess it would be 6. That sounds right. Who is a better singer, Mark or Don?
Oh, Nathan, you know where I'm in.
But
it's like this. It's like this. It's very close.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's very close. I think they are running. I think this record, it's neck and neck. Yeah. Oh, look who's here. Haven't heard this in a while. I will go 7 on. Okay, 7. All right. Okay. Anybody else that hasn't voted?
Yeah, get your votes in, folks.
Get your votes in so we can wrap this dog up. Did you see Gene Star? Did you see Gene Simmons perform with Chevy Metal? What is that? What's Chevy Metal? Gary, I expect your ranking to line up with mine. Yeah, same thing. Yeah. Well, Gary, I already have yours. Anybody else that hasn't voted ready? I'm going to reveal. It's kind of like The Price is Right. All right, let's see what we got. So everybody, I'm not even going to go through them. We have a whole bunch of numbers here. So based on what everybody has given me and the panel, Larry and DC and everybody else, which I want to extend a thank you for showing up tonight and partaking in our show, because it's all about having a community and talking music. What we came up with, ladies and gentlemen, holy crap, we come up with a 7.7. Panel, how do you feel about that? Think that's fair?
Pretty close, but I would rate it a little higher. I know I gave it an 8.
Well, it said the median was an 8.0. But, when you do an average,
right,
comes out to a 7.7.
Yeah, that's right in the ballpark. I could go 8.5 with this one.
Maureen, Heavy Metal, it's a great soundtrack. All right, I guess we're going to go with the 7.7. I have no issues with the 7.7. I'm good with that.
And for the people that haven't played it in a while, give it a spin. If you've got it hanging around in the archives, take a listen to it again. You may reassess what you originally think of this album.
Wow, you've fallen in love with Teardrop Explodes. Well, thank Stephen Schnee for that, because that was one of his picks. And just to let you guys know, we will be back in a couple weeks with a follow-up New Wave show. Just to let you know. In fact, I need to get, DC's been on the show, but I need to get Larry on the show to do a listening party where he will come up with his picks and my picks, and we try to turn you on to stuff.
Come up with a theme.
We need a theme. All right, cool. Well, I guess we've done it. We've given this record a 7.7. I cannot argue with that. Do you gentlemen have anything else to add before we wrap it up?
What do you think of the album title? Because when it first came out, I just thought it was kind of cheesy, as usual, just like All the Girls in the World Beware. But
I don't
know.
I just thought it's just kind of describes the whole album creating experience. They're just good singing, good playing, nothing or overt or anything. They're just having fun. I don't know.
My earliest memory of this is when I was a kid going to Woolworths, and they had a lot of cutouts, and they had a decent record section. And I remember seeing this record in the cutout bins for like $1 or 50 cents, because this thing didn't sell at all. No. And that's my earliest memory, and I really didn't know who Grand Funk was. And I've talked about that before. In high school, no one listened to Grand Funk. It was never discussed. These guys were dinosaurs. No, seriously, no one ever... And it wasn't that long ago when Grand Funk roamed the earth. And no one in the early 80s even mentioned them at all.
As we've talked about this before, it is the most bizarre thing that this group was humongous in the 70s, and then all of a sudden just disappeared. No mention of them, just gone. It's very, very strange how that happened.
I think being on the MCA record label didn't help for
No.
promotion either. That's not a very good record company.
Yeah, they weren't spending the kind of dough that Capitol was with them.
Yeah.
Well, we're talking 70s. Well, they were spending money on Steely Dan at this point.
There you go.
And,
Hey,
you know, what?
I was going to say, we only have the debut from Grand Funk left, the 2 albums from the 80s, and the live album Bosnia.
Closer to Home.
Oh, that's
We never
right.
did Closer to
Daggone it.
Home.
We didn't. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
we didn't do any of those early records.
We
The
did Red
earliest we
album,
went
The Red Album.
with the Red Album. That's
the
it.
E Pluribus,
Yeah.
We did that. Yeah.
Survival.
Survival. Yeah, so we did, but we didn't do Closer. Holy cats, we didn't do Closer to Home.
Yeah, we got to do Closer to
Yeah,
Home.
we can't exit this little
All right.
project
Closer to
without
Home is
that.
next. Is that agreed? You guys want to do Closer to Home? All right.
Agreed.
Jeff says MCA was known for being a stingy label. Yeah, possibly. I don't know. All right. Well, we might as well wrap it up. This is kind of short and sweet. We did 40 minutes. We don't have to go an hour. We covered it. This album's so good, you don't have to go over and over again.
Yeah.
But so stay tuned for next month. We're in July. We'll probably do this in early August. Well, we might do it in the July. You know, I don't know. We'll see. See what my schedule looks like. But we will be looking at Survival. What is that? 1971? 70?
Closer to Home. Closer to Home.
Oh, what did I just say? Survival?
Survival.
The brain. It's terrible. Thanks. Closer to Home. What's that? 1970? 70. All right.
70.
All right. Well, stay tuned. We will be doing more Grand Funk. We will be getting through this catalog. So I want to thank Larry and I want to thank DC for doing this. It's a fun conversation. It's all about turning you on to stuff. That's the only reason we do this. Well, actually, it's just so I can be turned on to stuff. But this is the only show that's supposed to be like that. But seriously, we're just trying to turn you on to stuff. I appreciate everybody giving their score. We will see you next time. Until the next episode, DC, Larry, we will see you. Have a good one.
All right.
You too.
So long, everybody.
Bye-bye.